Greetings, everyone. Welcome to Dr. K Speaks. We have entered a new dimension in time. We are being called to evolve, transform. Join us. The best thing that we can give our children is the greatest version of ourselves.
Absolutely.
The best version of ourselves.
Yes.
That's the best thing we could do.
Absolutely.
For our children and future generations to come.
Future generations, yes.
Because when we impact our children, we impact other generations to come. And regardless of what choices they make in their life in the future, you know that you gave it your all and you gave it your best.
Yes.
And in that, you can have peace.
Yes. Yes. So give it your all. Do your best. Become the highest version of yourself.
Mm-hmm.
This is important. You are the soil, and your children are the seed, and they need you
to nurture.
Yes. Hello, everybody. Right now, I am really excited because the topic that we're getting ready to talk about is how the parents are the soil and the child is the seed. And Goddess, I love the way that you talk about this particular subject. So can you just break it down and then share some experiences, some stories that you know about so everybody can really get it? Because this is really, really, really important for all you parents out there. And then for everybody else, because we all have parents, this can help them to understand why they are the way that they are.
Yeah.
To a certain degree, because we all have the ability to change. And when you're an adult, you're responsible for your own choices.
Yeah.
But talk about how the parents are the soil and the children are the seeds.
Well, I worked with troubled youth for 7 years.
Mm-hmm.
I was in a program called 12 Together. And we went into high schools and we worked with youth who were having some troubles, having some problems in high school.
Mm-hmm.
And the parents we would have conferences with the parents, and the parents would talk about the behavior of the young person. They don't seem to be interested in school. They're talking back. They're sleeping a lot. They seem depressed.
Mm-hmm.
Or the parent would say they're lazy. And what I would find out in talking to the young person was that the environment that they were in and the things that they had been through, which was the soil, that it created the emotions and the way that their behavior, it affected them to the point that it was affecting their behavior.
Mm-hmm.
So I always tell the parents is that the children are the seed and you and the father are the soil. And a lot of times when there's problems between the mother and the father, it affects the seed. And so I told one parent who was in counseling, I told him that his daughter was very depressed and she was very hurt and angry. And you could see it because there was a battle between the parents, the father
Custody
and the
battle.
mother.
Yep, custody battle. Yes, nasty custody battle in court.
Yes. And I told him, I said, she is your seed and you and the mother are the soil. And the soil is toxic. And I said, if you don't clean it up, let me tell you what's going to happen in a couple of years from now, because your daughter was in her teens.
Mm-hmm.
I said, angry. She's going to be angry. Well, she's already angry, actually.
Mm-hmm. Very angry.
Yeah, and she's hurt.
Mm-hmm.
And she's depressed. And when kids are hurt, angry, and depressed, they usually sedate. And because energetically, like attracts like, she's going to be hanging out with kids who are hurt and angry. And you and the mother are going to be looking for her because she's going to be out there with the people that she can talk to, that can relate to her hurt and pain.
Yes.
And so if you don't want her to be out there, and if you don't want her to go through that, then you and the mama need to clean up the soil.
Got to clean up the soil.
So that seed can flourish.
Absolutely.
I was talking to a young girl who was expecting a baby. Actually, I was photographing her.
Mm-hmm.
And I asked her, I said, I want you to look at this plant. I said, see this plant right here? I said, if this plant broke out in a bad rash, what would you do? And she said, well, I would first have to find out what happened. Why was it broke out like that? I said, exactly. Why was it important that you find out why it was like that? What was the reason? Because then you would know how to nourish it back to health. You would know what the problem was and nourish it back to health.
Yes.
A lot of time, parents get mad because of what they see. You can't get mad at the plant because it's broke out. How does that help the plant?
Yes.
If you cuss the plant out and throw it up against the wall, it's not going to help it to all of a sudden be healthy again. You have to evaluate the environment and say what is toxic in the environment that's causing it to be that way.
Yes.
And once you do that, then you can begin to help it to become healthy again, because you'll know what is needed.
Yes.
So the question is, what is needed here when you see that situation?
Absolutely. I see that a lot of toxicity in the soil. In part of my practice, I do reunification therapy. And so judges will court order somebody to come to me for reunification, the whole family, or attorneys will have it in the court order for the people to come to me for reunification therapy. And when I'm working with these families, I see everybody individually first. I see the kid alone or the children alone. I see the mother and I see the dad. And then the majority of the time, the parents are fighting with each other. The soil is so toxic because the parents are so negative towards each other. And it's just so unfortunate. A lot of them will tell the children, well, your mother is this or your father is this. And they don't realize that they are poisoning the child against the other parent, right? Which is that soil, and the child is the seed, but it's hurting the child because the child has a right to be loved by both parents, and the child has a right to love both parents, and the kids get really confused. So because of the parents' drama, the kids end up with all kinds of anxiety, and then a lot of times they are so far alienated from the other parent that they just start having panic attacks whenever they're in the presence of that other parent. And when I ask them what's really going on and give me some examples of some things that other parent did to them that was so bad, they don't even have any examples. They don't have any examples because the toxicity of the soil of the parents, or maybe even that one parent has, by osmosis, impacted that child. So now the child is believing that this other parent is really, really bad and doesn't want to be around them, but they don't even have any real reasons why.
Yeah. And one of the things that happened, I think you're familiar with this, we learned this at a workshop where a man had a real close relationship with his son, and his sister borrowed some money from his mother and didn't pay her back. So the father got angry at the sister and stopped speaking to her and stopped inviting her to different events. And the son, he loved this aunt. And so him and the father began to have problems. And the father went to therapy with the son because he wanted to understand what happened, why they wasn't close no more. And what came out in the therapy was that the son felt if the father could turn his back on his sister that he loved, what would it take for him to turn his back on me?
Wow.
So the son didn't feel emotionally safe with his own father, because what if I don't live up to who he wanted me to be? What if I make a mistake? Then is he going to turn on me too? So this is something that parents should look at when they turn on the other parent. Instead of saying, we having some issues, we got to work out, but to demean the other person, to put them, to put them down. It's like, you two, we seen that you were in love at one point. And now dad has did something or mom has done something and you turn your back on them. So how emotionally safe am I? And how real is your love for me?
So it's so important for all of you parents out there to realize that you are the soil. You're supposed to nurture and give your kids everything that they need to have and do to flourish.
Yeah.
And your children are the seeds, right? And none of us are perfect. None of us are walking 100.
Right.
So with whatever it is that you have going on in your life that you know is important for you to clean up,
Yeah.
work on rewiring your brain. Because the only way that you're going to create something different is you got to change the programs up here.
Mm-hmm.
You got to change how your brain is wired. There is not another way.
Yeah.
There are no magic wands out here that's going to go right across you, and then all of a sudden you've changed. You got to put your work in. So I really encourage you to do it. And for everyone who's listening, if you've had a parent and you realize that that soil was toxic, and then you start to have your epiphanies about, wow, that's why I have this belief system, or that's the reason why I have this issue as it relates to a particular situation, right? You got some understanding now that your parents were your soil and you are the seed. And when you hit that adult level, then now you're responsible for yourself. So all of that blaming your parents for how you are now doesn't fly, because when you become an adult, you are capable of rewiring your brain. You probably just didn't know how to do it, because a lot of people think this is just the way I am, take it or leave it.
Yeah.
It's not how you are forever. It's just the space that you're in right now because of how your brain is wired. But trust me, because I've gone through the process and I wrote a book about it, got a workbook for it. You can rewire your brain and become different. You become different on the inside, and what's on the inside gets reflected out into your outer world, and your life changes.
Yes. And rewiring your brain is about, seeing things in a higher light, creating an atmosphere where you can be at peace within yourself and feel a sense of comfort and love in your own life experience.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Bottom line, rewiring your brain is about changing your habits, because the brain is wired for habit. Yeah. The neuroscientists say 68%, before it was like 90 something percent. They say that our brain is wired for habit, which means that for 68% of our day, or 90 something percent of our day, we walk around on automatic pilot from the programs that are wired into our brain.
Yeah. So ask God to help you see this situation in a higher light, so you can have more peace, love, and harmony in your life.
Absolutely. And I definitely recommend that you get the book and the workbook, because it's so important for you to be able to, the workbook helps you to identify specific things, whatever your triggers are, specific things in your life that need to be changed, because it's some behaviors that you have, or maybe a belief system that you have is taking you somewhere that you don't want to go. So you identify that this is what I'm doing right now, and it's not taking me where I want to go. And then it's like, what should I be doing? What do I think I could be thinking or doing that can take me where I do want to go? And then that's where you would put it on the other side in the workbook, right? And then I got strategies that are outlined in the workbook and the book as well that will help you to be able to identify what you need to do to get yourself from where you are now to where you want to go. And let me tell you now, it's about the process of repetition, because doing something over and over again, thinking about something over and over again, is how our brain got wired in the first place. And to rewire your brain, to reprogram yourself, to get new habits, you have to go through that whole process where you repetitiously do something new over and over again, or think in a new way over and over again, until it gets wired into your brain.
Always remember that the parents are the soil and the children are the seeds. The best thing that you can give to your children is the greatest version of yourself. When you impact your children, you impact other generations to come. So give it your all. Give it your best. Never forget that your children really need you. Check out Goddess's pocket-sized book entitled The Book of Wisdom. It's a 40-page powerful book of affirmations that will assist you on your journey. Order by email at goddessgoddess at yahoo.com. That's GODDESSGODIS at yahoo.com. Also, my book and workbook are available on Amazon. This powerful duo will help you to reprogram your brain to bring you what you want in life. My book is entitled, I Rewired My Brain, My Journey to Freedom. And the workbook is entitled, I'm Rewiring My Brain, My Journey to Freedom. Thank you for listening. And if you've liked this video, give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends and family. And if you have not yet subscribed to my channel, then please subscribe so that you can be aware of all of the videos that I've already posted and ones that I will continue to post on how to become the highest version of yourself.